Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report, presented by 5v5hockey.com.
Yo, welcome back to the Red Wings Report on Healthy Scratch. Today, we're going to look at Buschy's Armchair GM. So what I'm doing, or what I did, was Cap Friendly, one of my favorite websites, contracts, looking at the salary cap charts, seeing who's going to be available, who might get traded, all that fun stuff. It's hockey heaven for nerds like me that like the numbers and the salary cap and all of that stuff. What I did is I used one of their interactive tools called the Armchair GM. And what you can do with this, and we just did this in a prior video, we looked at a lot of people, different moves they made. You can go in and pretend you're your team's GM. So I put on my Steve Yzerman thinking cap and went, all right, if I was him, what would I do? Now, disclaimer, listen carefully, okay? None of these moves or anything are guaranteed to happen. I'm not saying I have inside knowledge. I'm not saying that I know what I'm talking about, okay? This is just something that I like to go in, see what's going to happen. I tried to make it realistic. Now, we're going to look through some of the comments. Some of them were from a couple fans of the other teams that I made moves with, and some of them were from Red Wings fans, where we had a pretty good debate, and we're going to look at why. We've already went through who's available in free agency, who's available maybe via trade that would fit with the Red Wings. Now, not all of those can happen because there's only so much cap space, right? What you're going to see is who I've signed, who I traded for, and where they fit in the lineup. So let's jump right into it and look at what GM Buschy did with the Red Wings. So first things first, we look at some of the free agent signings, RFAs. So you're going to see a few guys here that maybe I'll black him out. We'll see. John Letherman coming back. He's going to play in Grand Rapids. Matt Luff, Grand Rapids. Joe Veleno, 2 years, $1.5 million. So that's something that I actually don't mind. Bringing him back, he's not going to make that much. In a couple of years, he's still going to be RFA. Jared McIsaac, Wyatt Newpower will bring them back. Now, let's look at our UFAs. I'm bringing in Frederik Andersen on a 1-year deal, $4 million to back up Ville Husso. Now, I think that Andersen is a very, very good goalie. I don't know if he's necessarily going back to Carolina. Is he going to take a 1-year deal? Maybe. He's 33 years old. $4 million is actually not so bad for him. So I tried to entice him with a little bit of a higher cap hit than maybe what I think he's worth. This is a guy, like I said in our last video, I don't know if I want to make a trade, giving up draft picks to get a guy that I can just go out and sign to be a stopgap. Freddie Anderson's my stopgap. I still think he's a very effective goalie. I really like JT Compher, okay? JT Compher is a guy that we've talked about. He's got very good advanced statistics. I signed him for a 4-year deal, $5 million. He can play on that second line center position. I think he thrived with obviously Gabe Landeskog being out for the Avalanche. I don't know if it's something where the Avalanche can't afford him at $5 million. Maybe they can't. But I think he fits the mold of what the Red Wings are looking for. I like him as a player. I signed Radko Gudas to a 2-year deal of $3 million, okay? This is where a lot of the debate is going to come later in the video with one of these Red Wing commenters. Again, there's nobody really out there in free agency that I really like at right-hand D. I mean, I don't want John Klingberg. I don't want Matt Dumba. I don't want Justin Holl. There was somebody that said that they'd rather have him. I have no idea why you would want him. He stinks. These guys are not that good. You're looking at a name that used to be good, or perception is that they're good. Klingberg used to be elite, I guess, with Dallas. And Dumba, I don't think he's really ever hit what the Wild thought he was going to be. So I don't want those guys. So I went, well, can I get somebody for cheap? Radko Gudas just went to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Florida Panthers. He's a big, tough presence. We looked at his advanced stats. They were very, very good defensively. And I think that's something worth looking at because we do have a couple offensive type players on D. I think to me, Oli Mata is the only one that's like a specifically defensive defenseman and is good at it. So adding a guy like Gudas, he's 33 years old for a 2-year deal. It might entice him to come to a place like Detroit because I don't think it's something where he can pick and choose where he's going to go. Maybe making a Stanley Cup final that can do that for you. You look at Aiden Hill, he's going to get paid. And I don't think anybody's going to make that move and really think that that was good, because he caught not even that he caught fire. He played on a really good Golden Knights team and played like a few rounds. So, but Gudas played the whole way up. He's hard nosed. He's tough. I'll take it. I did bring back Alex Chason. I think he deserves the contract. He'll probably go back to Grand Rapids, but he did really well on the power play, so it was worth giving him a deal. Bring back Pius Suter for 2 years, $2.5 million. I liked his defensive game. Looking at his advanced stats, very, very good. Brought back Chase Pearson, Danny O'Regan to play in the AHL. And this is something where I had some cap space left over and went, F it. Vladimir Tarasenko, 3 years, $6 million. Is that going to get it done for him? Like, who knows? Again, I'm just looking at how much space I had and what we can do with it. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the trades that I made, and I'll talk to you about how much these RFAs signed for, because you probably see it's blacked out right now. So trade number one, I'm bringing in Alex DeBrincat, and we've talked at length in a bunch of other videos now about how the Red Wings need a guy like Alex DeBrincat. I gave up Albert Johansson, Philip Zadina, and a first-round pick, and it's the 17th overall. So it's very similar to some of the trades that have been being made in the other armchair GMs. This is one that I'm okay with. I know we're going to have to give up 17. I'm okay giving up Philip Zadina. It's something where, like, if they want a reclamation project, go for it. Albert Johansson is a top defensive prospect, so I kind of treat him like a second-round pick. Now, if you want to take him out and add a second-round pick in, I'm for that. Like, you can take one of our second-round picks if we're going to get DeBrincat, and I get to keep Johansson. That's like a win-win for me. So I just wanted to say, like, okay, they got a top prospect at least. Now, the second trade that I made, maybe not something that will happen, but I was trying to think outside of the box, looking for a right-hand D that fit this core, that maybe there won't be the space for him on their team. That guy that I identified was Kalen Addison, and gave up Robert Mastrosimone, that he has shown no interest in signing with the Red Wings, so F him, see you later, and third-round pick for Kalen Addison. Now, he is a young player. He's, I think, 23 years old. He's a right-hand shot. This is something where I valued Mastrosimone as like a 4th or a 5th round pick. Is that enough to pry Addison from the Wild? Maybe not, but I was kind of trying to see, can I get away with not giving up a second-round pick for his rights? So if we look at their cap hits here, I signed DeBrincat 8 years, $8 million. I signed Addison for a 4-year deal worth $3 million. So both of those guys were RFA. We traded for their rights, and I think it's something that fit the core. So right now, what we can do is look at the lineup and see, is this something that you would like to see on opening night? Our top 6 looks way, way better. I mean, we basically added a full line, which is what we did last year with Kubalik and Perron and Kopp. We added another line, and I thought they'd all be in the top 6. Now, you're going to notice on mine, 2 of them are not in the bottom. They're actually on the bottom line. We're looking at DeBrincat with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. Now, that's a line that I can really see DeBrincat popping 40. Larkin has the potential to get 40. I think Lucas Raymond could turn into a guy that we could talk about 30. Who knows, maybe 40. So I really like that lineup. David Perron with JT Compher, Vladimir Tarasenko. I don't think anybody can disagree that that's a pretty damn good line too. A couple veterans on each wing. Perron and Tarasenko played together at St. Louis. There's a lot of ex-Blues on this team. I think Tarasenko, maybe that's something that entices him to come here, possibly. You ever think about that? And now third line, we got Fabry with Rasmussen, Jonathan Berggren. I really like that third line. I mean, Fabry, hopefully he's healthy at the beginning of the year. He's shown the ability that he can score and be scrappy. I want Rasmussen to have a little more of that snarl like he had last year. And Jonathan Berggren, continue on that really good rookie season that he had. And then the fourth line is good as well. Pius Suter with Andrew Kopp and Dominic Kubalik. Now, I know looking at Kopp's $5.625 million salary on the fourth line sucks, but he is what he is. Okay. We have him. I'm almost trying to look at, like, what if he didn't have that cap hit? I think it's something where a lot of these players can be interchangeable. If you want to say you want to put Kopp on the third line, put Rasmussen on the fourth. Okay. I'm going to agree with you. That's fine. With JT Compher, do you want to put him on the wing and move, Kopp up and then move? You can move guys all over the place. The nice thing is there is some flexibility with a lot of these players. Kubalik on the fourth line is the only one that I'm kind of, I'm not sure about. I know he started last year when he signed on the fourth line, and some of those injuries and things like Verana, going off actually thrust him into that top 6 role, and he played really well with it. But that's the nice thing is you're going to have somebody chomping at the bit to get those top 6 moments. So, for example, if Robbie Fabry isn't really playing that well, guess what? Kubalik can come up and take your spot. Now on defense, still going with Mo Seider and Jake Wallman as the top pair. Second pair, I'm going with Olli Mata with Kalen Addison, which I think is a very, very good fit because Mata is very defensive. I think Kalen Addison's more of an offensive guy. The third pair, we're going Ben Sherratt and Radko Gudas. So, I mean, if you want to add some toughness into that bottom pair, that's going to do it. I mean, I know Ben Sherratt, we were looking at his advanced stats, was pretty bad, but you put him with someone like Radko Gudas who had elite defensive stats, maybe he makes up for it. If you want to switch a few of these guys around, I'm not sure who it would be because now Edvinsson's going to come back too. Now, in my world, now you're going to see he's on injured reserve here. We got Veleno as a scratch. We can put him up as well. Simon Edvinsson, when he comes back, I would love it if he just replaced Ben Sherratt. Okay. Now you'd have Wallman, Seider, Mata, Addison, Edvinsson, Gudas, and then Sherratt as a scratch. With Ville Husso and Freddie Anderson, we're looking at a pretty damn good team, I think. And I mean, it's a playoff team. If I look at that, with those additions with DeBrincat, Comfort, Tarasenko, Addison, Gudas, Anderson, that's 6 guys. We added 6 last year. And now some of the guys that are gone, your Adam Ernies of the world are out of here. We traded away Philip Zadina, see you later, Nedeljkovic, see you later, Hellberg, Robert Haig. I think I re-signed Jordan Osterley to be on the minor team, but I don't think you can see that on here. Let's look at the long-term outlook. So this is something where we're looking at the chart. Larkin obviously signed long-term. Now we have DeBrincat signing long-term. Okay. And that's for a long time. So you've locked up your core. You have Tarasenko for a few years until he's about 33. Now, this is the nice thing. Tarasenko's 31 years old. It's not like he's old. Okay. I'm 32. I'm older than Vladimir Tarasenko. So, and it's something where like a 2-year deal or actually a 3-year deal, it makes sense to me. You get him until he's 34. Is this something where he's trying to cash in on like an 8-year deal? I don't know if Tarasenko is going to get that. He is one of the more skilled guys in free agency. Again, I threw him in here at the end going, I have $6 million left in cap space. Let's spend it. So we don't necessarily need to do that. You can knock a guy like Kubalik into his spot in the lineup if you really wanted to. Andrew Kopp is still here for a while. JT Compher, you're going to have him for 4 years. He's 28 years old. You're getting him until he's 32. You got him in his prime. Okay. And in the right situation like Detroit, he can thrive. Play him on the second line. I still really think he's a guy that Yzerman would want in the room. Still have Fabry. Perron is going to be a UFA coming up again. That could be something where he's on he's going to be on 1-year deals going forward. Kubalik is up as well. So these are guys where now you have some flexibility, right? You Perron and Kubalik go out. You got Tarasenko, DeBrincat, Compher coming in. I know who I'd rather have. Okay. Pius Suter is going to be here for a couple of years. And then you're looking at Berggren, Raymond, Rasmussen, all needing contracts. So it's going to be nice to see Rasmussen in a contract year. I think he might have arbitration rights. So I really hope he has a really good year and makes it tough for the Red Wings because that's best case scenario. With Lucas Raymond, this is going to be interesting too. Does he get a bridge deal? Do they lock him up 8 years? I think you're seeing a lot of teams now identifying their young core at 21 when their entry-level deal is up and signing them 8 years, right? Just giving them the deal now to spread out that money and just give him what he's going to be worth in a few years anyway, right? And then Berggren, same idea, right? I think he's in the same boat as Lucas Raymond. I know he wasn't a 4th overall pick, but he is a very good part of this core now. And you might have to give him a bridge, or do you sign a guy like Jonathan Berggren to an 8-year deal? To me, I don't think you do, but it's going to depend on how they play this year. On defense, we got a few more years of Ben Sherratt. Again, if I could get rid of him, I would. He's making the most on our D. We got Jake Wallman for 3 more. He just re-signed, which I really love. Olli Mata for a few more years. Really like that. And then I re-signed Kalen Addison, right? So 4 years, got him. He's 23 years old. That brings him until he's about 27. And then you got to make a move there. Now, another thing we could try to do, and again, I'm not sure how to posture this, but would we get a deal where if we had Kalen Addison, could we make it so that his deal is up and he's restricted again? I'm not sure how many years it would take. It would probably be 2 years, but I just said, you know what, 4, screw it. That's kind of the window. And then Gudas for a couple of years, $3 million. It's not something that is going to really break the bank. And then we got Mo Seider that's going to need to get paid. Okay. So that's where Kubalik, Perron, those guys, they're probably not coming back because you're going to have to pay Mo. You're going to have to pay Lucas Raymond. So But now you have all your core locked up, right? And then in that you have Anderson for 1 year, and you still have Husso for 2. Hopefully Sebastian Cossa comes up, or who knows? They could draft somebody this year. Somebody random could start, developing overseas or in junior, like Carter Gylander. Like, who knows who it could be, right? Goalies are weird. They take a while. So hopefully here's what I think. Hopefully we have a lot of problems. Okay. And now by that, I mean, the problems being we have too much talent. Okay. We have to pay too many guys because they're doing too well. That's the best situation, is we have to pay a lot of people. Now, Yzerman's going to be a lot more smart with his money than I was. I spent right to the cap, which isn't going to be something that Yzerman does, in my opinion, because he's going to want that flexibility to make these, re-signings, make some moves at the deadline, get guys that maybe, hopefully this year is a trade deadline where we're adding pieces instead of shipping them out. Because if you were looking at it, the only guys we can really move are Perron and Kubalik that are unrestricted free agents, other than in this one, Freddie Anderson, right? So there's really not that many trade chips, so to speak. I think teams would be lining up for Perron and Kubalik if they were playoff teams and the Red Wings weren't. That's worst case scenario. I want these guys to be on the team at the end of the year, and then we go, okay, now what? Okay. I don't want to trade them for futures and stuff like that. I want them to be in the playoffs. I want them to be a really good cohesive team, and maybe go like, hey, you know what? I'll resign here if you take less. Who knows, right? That's something that I really like what Yzerman's building here. And then we'll look, obviously, Simon Edvinsson still has 3 years on his entry-level deal. They slid it an extra year, which that's debatable. Do you want to do that or do you want to not? Because and we've talked about that before too with Simon Edvinsson, is do you want to use that year? Now he's closer to free agency or closer to a big extension, or do you just lock him up quick? Do you burn that 9 games and get it over with and then get that extension going? You can argue for both. Obviously, the Red Wings decided to slide the contract an extra year. Can't fault them for that. They want him to be cheap. Dead cap, we're looking at Verana just for this year, and then he's off the books. Buyout, we got Abdelkader for a few more years at $1 million, so it's not really that big of a chunk of change. And then, here's the guys in the minors, and we can look at some of these guys, brought back Chason as kind of a, older guy. Now younger guys, Marco Kasper, Carter Mazur, Elmer Soderblom. Soderblom did really well in the NHL last year. He has a chance to make the team. Carter Mazur might have a chance to make the team at 21 years old. Marco Kasper also has a chance. Like in my roster here, there probably isn't that much opportunity because of the guys I signed, but this is, again, a good problem to have. All these guys can go back to the minors. They can play. They can, I'm hoping Grand Rapids will be a lot better than they were last year, because you have guys like maybe Kasper in there, Carter Mazur, Soderblom is down there, Alexander Doucette, who was awesome in the QMJHL, Cross Hannes, another full year. Emilius Lombardi, his first year, he was really good with Flint, right? So, and then, bringing back Zarnik, Matt Luff, you still got Taro Hirose, who led the team, right? And then a few guys like Pearson and O'Regan that, just to kind of plug the holes. And then on D, again, William Wallander, is that a guy that maybe gets a peak at the end of the year this year? Who knows? It depends where the Red Wings are in the standings or how he does. This is his first year over in North America. You got Antti Tuomisto, Jared McIsaac, who's taken forever to develop. I don't know if he has a future here, but he's with Grand Rapids right now. And then new power, Sabrango is a pretty good defensive prospect. So is Emil Vieiro. So like they have a stocked shelf goalies, Sebastian Cossa, John Lefferman, old MSU goalie. So what do you think? I mean, is this something that you would like? Now I want to kind of look at the comments here because some of them are interesting, right? So this is from a Red Wings fan. So Ottawa has too many left-handed Ds just like us. Albert Johansson is going to move the needle for them. Fair enough. I didn't know that. So would you take a second? Right. And like I said, would you just take the draft pick instead? Because I'm not moving any of my right-hand D prospects. I don't really have any. I got Antti Tuomisto, but I think he's not highly rated as Albert Johansson. So fair enough. I agree with that. Let's go look at another one here. So hard pass on Comfort and Gudas. Freddie Anderson will likely get at least 2 years, but the average can probably be lower. Okay, yeah, that's fair. And like I said, I gave him 1 year, so I bumped up the average. Tarasenko isn't signing here. He'll end up with a Stanley Cup contender. Well, some of these guys, I think what they're going to look at, and like I said, he used to play with the Blues. A lot of his ex-teammates are there, right? Maybe that's something that gets him to come here. But also, he'll end up with a Stanley Cup contender. Does he want to do it now? because a lot of these Stanley Cup contenders have no cap space, right? Or is he going to look for a team that potentially will be one in a few years? So with the Red Wings and what they're building, what I'm going to try to pitch to a guy like Tarasenko is, listen, it might not be this year, but like the next season is where we're really trying to build something. Our young core is getting there. We need a guy like you to come in, score some goals. And with my team, we have DeBrincat. We brought in Comfort. Like we have a lot of these guys now that can kind of show the way. So if you think that you're going to be a Stanley Cup contender in a few years, you tell Tarasenko, hey, we're going to be in it. Like we didn't do that well at the end of the year this year, but we have an amazing core. If you want to be here for like repeated runs, I think Detroit's the place to go rather than somebody like that wants to go to Boston. They're going to bottom out at one point, right? That's what's going to happen. So it goes in ebbs and flows. That's why I think now hard pass on Comfort and Gudas was interesting. Hard pass on Comfort. I'm like, that's weird. And I don't think I ever got really a response on Comfort, but we'll see this. So said hard pass is interesting because who would you want to get on the right side of defense instead? It's slim pickings. And that is true. This is a different guy. I could actually see Tarasenko signing here 2 years ago. He's a cap dump. Nobody wanted whatsoever, even for free. Seattle. Tarasenko 2 years at $7 million. I'm okay with that. Again, I'd rather have him for an extra year at 6, but 2 at 7. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. Hard passes in. Okay, so he says honor matters to me, which I found hilarious. Team culture matters to me. Me too. Respect for your opponent and the game. I don't really care that much about that. Matter to me, and for those reasons alone, I would puke in my mouth if that piece of blank Gudas ever wore the winged wheel. So this guy's looking at like what type of guy he is. Number one, okay, you don't know what type of guy he is. He's probably awesome in the dressing room, okay? That's how it is. He plays on the ice. Is he a little bit of a piece of shit on the ice? Yeah, but you know what? We have too many softies on this team. We need a piece of shit, okay? So that's where I go honor. What the hell does honor even mean? Everybody in the league does scumbag shit, okay? Veleno stomped on a guy's foot with his skate, okay? We're going to shoot him out of a cannon? He's still on the team. You know what I mean? Like, every player has that in them. I've done it. Not anything like that. But, I mean, you get mad, you whack somebody, or you get a little bit scummy because it's a fucking game, man. It's physical. Shit happens. So honor, like, you want everybody to be Nicholas Lidstrom. That's what you want, right? So he said also he's not that good and routinely gets caught chasing. Mayfield, Clifton, or even Hall. Justin Hall, I'd rather have defensively. And if we're taking swings on offense, Klingberg or Dumba, and that's not even factoring the potential trade market. Okay, trade market, I agree with them, okay? But Klingberg and Dumba suck, okay? They're not even good offensively anymore. Klingberg is a little bit more. Dumba doesn't do anything. So Klingberg, I'm absolutely out on him, out on Dumba. Justin Hall is trash. Connor Clifton I've looked at, but I don't think he's going to really fit here. Mayfield is a pretty decent defenseman. I will say that. 30 years old, though. Are you going to sign him for 2-3 years? I mean, Gudas is 33, so I'm not going to play the age card, but Mayfield, sure, I could see that. Not that good was an interesting thing because, Minnesota declines. Okay, so didn't say why. So was it not enough? Is it something where they think Kalen Addison isn't going to get moved? Because if he's not going to get moved, then fine. But do you think that price is right? If you need a little more, then like I said, okay, we can talk about that because I like Kalen Addison and I would love to get him. So I put Hall. That has to be a troll post. That guy is horrendous. Go check on Dumba and Klingberg. They're both awful defensively, which is fair. And it's statistically. And I have no idea what you mean by honor. The guy plays tough. I can argue he's better than every guy you listed with the exception of Mayfield. And even that, I can argue that Gudas's defensive stats are better. I don't like Hall. Okay, well, but I'd rather have him over whatever this is, Assbag Gudas. He doesn't play tough. He plays dirty classes as a blanking scumbag. Okay, so wait, you don't like Hall, but you said that you would take him over Gudas. Okay, so you're going to take a crappy player rather than a better one because you have an issue with his dirty, classless. I want to see some of these, what do you think is dirty and classless? Him like smoking somebody, him yelling at Joseph Wool. He wasn't even yelling at him. He was just yelling in general, but I thought it was funny. I have no idea what you mean by honor. Obviously, listen, man, you got the MVP, you got the most valuable primate. Okay. I like that. I know what honor means, but it doesn't matter. Okay. you're bringing a guy in that's going to play tough. He's going to, you know what happens? Honor in the dressing room. That's what you need. I don't give a shit about honor on the ice. Drive the other guy through the wall, man. Like, enough of this softy bullshit. We have enough soft guys on the team. We need someone that's going to kill somebody. Okay. Let's get real. Okay. So you just have an intense hate for guys that play over the line. Got it. Nothing to do with actual stats or anything. And I'm not signing a guy for honor. We have like 18 guys that are soft as 10-ply toilet paper. Give me some dirt on top. That was my response. You're disgraced as a Wings fan if you're okay with signing a guy who ended Franzen's career with a brutal elbow. Number one, don't even remember that. And honestly, I love Mule. I love Franzen, but I don't care. What can you do for me now? Okay. Franzen is not on the team anymore. Okay. I still like him. I have his jersey. Okay. Also, his advanced stats suck too. He's often out of position, takes stupid penalties. He does take stupid penalties. Okay. There's some guys that do that. He was in the top 93% defensive stats for defensemen via JFresh. His projected wins above replacement is 86%. If that's his advanced stats that suck, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Also, just realize you're making me argue for signing Radko Gudas, which is hilarious because I don't really like him, okay? I'm just defending. It's so funny. I'm defending my decision to put him on the team where there's just really nobody else, and I need to plug the hole, and this guy's getting all... Anyway, I just don't think there's anyone out there for right-hand D that I like in free agency. You need Steven to make a trade. That's what we need. Now, he says career negative relative Fenwick, including last season. Career negative relative Corsi, including last season, a below-average PDO. So those are different stats, right? Now, the one thing we can agree on is that the free agent market is thin and they should be looking to bolster via trade. I personally think that Pionk makes a lot of sense. I don't like Neil Pionk, but I was tired of arguing. So I said, I didn't even, maybe it might be a sneaky good ad, I don't think that's a guy that I would be really looking. But if Yzerman thinks that he's going to be one of those guys, then totally fine. So what do you think of these moves? Free agent signings, the trades that I made, what the roster looks like. I mean, here it is right here. This is the lineup. This is my 23-24 Detroit Red Wings. Leave a like, share the video, subscribe to our channel. If you have comments about it, if you think there's guys in here that you really like, or maybe moves that I haven't considered, leave it in the comments. I love talking to people about this. I'll never say that, you're wrong. I just like to have that debate. And if you just don't like a player, I like to know why. If you like a player, I like to know why. And if you think it fits, then all the power to you, but let me know why. I don't want you to just throw a name out there, say a guy sucks. Tell me why he sucks. Tell me why he's good. Tell me why you agree. Tell me why you disagree. That's why I like this stuff. So until next time, I think we're going to be doing a few more of our player profiles. We'll be talking about the draft. We'll be talking about some of the free agency on June 30th. We're going to have all day. We're going to be just waiting for a lot of these moves to be coming in. I know it's supposed to be July 1st, but June 30th is when a lot of it happens. We're also going to be July 1st. We're going to be live. I think Bobo might be joining me on July 1st. On June 30th, it's going to be me solo. But until then, enjoy the rest of our content, and we'll see you in our next video.